Well, this is my long-running mainline project. It's a much bigger project now than I ever anticipated it would be, and it's so large actually that putting together a tour of it, as I've long intended to do for YouTube, is itself kind of challenging because there's so many different facets to it. It has, if you really, depending on what you count, it has around 5 divisions to it, not all of which are complete. It has 2 branch lines, with possibly one more on the way. It has 5 different signaling systems. It has all kinds of traffic, all kinds of track. Well, not all kinds of, not all the ones available in the game, but a lot of different types. And many different kinds of practice. I've tried to work as many different facets of American railroading into it as possible. The whole line is actually fictional. It's meant to be nominally the new New York Central under CSX plus BNSF plus traditional CSX. And so that's a kind of a strange combination. So it's sort of set in Illinois, vaguely. And it also, as you can see, has a questionable frame rate because it's very detailed in some areas, less detailed in others. But I think the main reason for the frame rate being kind of odd is that as it's grown more and more, the computer's had trouble coping even when it doesn't have everything on screen, which of course it almost never does. And I'm thinking of splitting it into 2 or 3 pieces to make it more playable. After all, it is multiple divisions, of course. The overall length, I don't actually even know what it is right now, but it's certainly over 190 miles, which is huge by train standards. I mean, probably somebody else has built something longer, but it wouldn't be too many people. And this means that this project has been a bit more than I bargained for. My personal view is that I'd like to get this done soon so that I can work on other things. So I've been putting on a push the last month or 2 to try and solve the small issues that this has. These are empty mine trains trying to bring empties back up into the mines in the mountains. One division is basically electric commuter railroad. You can see that here. And another division takes you up into the mountains. Basically, it's a freight route. Then there's a freight bypass for this electric commuter railroad. Then there's another division which is all steam, in theory, which is, I know, kind of crazy, but there it is. And then I am considering, well, there's also another division that feeds the commuter railroad, which is incomplete. And then there's a branch line to a small village with a steel mill. And there's another branch that I have under construction, which goes to a mine. Here you can see the active power plant that you can get. This is on the freight bypass. Notice no electrification. I do have some passenger services on it, though, as you can see here. Of course, in reality, any main line in the U.S. might have something like this, although not necessarily Amtrak. This is the steam line that I mentioned earlier. And you can see here how this city is it's lacking in scenery. A lot of the territory has track but no scenery as of now, which is frustrating. This is on the freight bypass again. This is the steam line again. I've given it a 110 mile an hour speed limit so that you can run the Hiawatha all the way up to maximum speed. And on the commuter line, there are sections that can take the Excel Express, although it's not going more than 110 here. And I'm not sure how much there is to say about it. There are much faster sections of the line than this one, up to 150 miles an hour. And the 150 mile an hour sections, as of right now, are 4-tracked as well. I'm sort of torn about whether I'm going to do any more 4-track. In reality, only 2 railroads that I know of in America had 4 tracks, namely the New York Central and the Pennsylvania. And today, I mean, it's even rarer. So here's a freight train feeding the steel mill, not on the branch line, but in the big city you saw earlier. The electric locomotives are actually German Tauruses, or Sprinters they're also called. Amtrak have a few of these, but they're not very common in the US. However, I decided to do a New York Central version of them, both for freight and for passenger, because otherwise I would lack a modern, practical electric that would be plausible since they're already being exported to the United States. Now this is a British locomotive interior, I think for Class 86, but with the driver's seat moved to the right. It's meant to be a generic in Trainz. That was actually an AEM7 because they don't have a good interior for it yet. And this is one of the mine trains loaded going downhill. And then this is a scrapyard that has another branch line actually that I didn't mention. You can see the electric commuter line in the background. So that's it. Thanks for watching.